Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Italian ebook before it's gone. Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Italian ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to talk about transportation in Italian? You'll learn how in just a moment. Hi, my name is Felice and this is 3-Step Italian by ItalianPod101.com. In this lesson, you learn to talk about transportation in Italian through a quick conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. As you listen, pay attention to how they ask about the topic and how the other person responds. Ottimo lavoro! Sono le 17. Abbiamo ancora tempo. A che ora vedi i tuoi amici? Alle 19. Vado alla cantina a piedi. Vuoi venire con me? Sono stanco. Vengo in taxi. Let's hear it with the English translation. Ottimo lavoro. Sono le 17. Abbiamo ancora tempo. Good job. It's 5 p.m. We still have time. A che ora vedi i tuoi amici? What time are you seeing your friends? The next sentence is the one we'll focus on. Let's take a closer look and break it down into its parts. Alle 19 vado alla cantina a piedi. Vuoi venire con me? At 7 p.m. I'm going to la cantina on foot. Do you want to come with me? First is alle 19, meaning at 7 p.m. Alle 19. Alle 19. Next is the sentence, vado alla cantina a piedi, meaning I'm going to la cantina on foot. Vado alla cantina a piedi. This starts with the verb vado, meaning I go or I'm going. Vado. Vado. Next is the phrase alla cantina, meaning to la cantina. Alla cantina. Alla cantina. After this is the phrase a piedi, meaning on foot. A piedi. A piedi. Next is the question. Vuoi venire con me? Meaning, do you want to come with me? Vuoi venire con me? This starts with the verb vuoi, meaning do you want? Vuoi. Vuoi. Next is the verb venire, meaning to come. Venire. Venire. After this is the phrase con me, meaning with me. Con me. Con me. All together, it's alle 19 vado alla cantina a piedi. Vuoi venire con me? At 7 p.m. I'm going to la cantina on foot. Do you want to come with me? Sono stanco. Vengo in taxi. I'm tired. I'm coming by taxi. Let's look at the sentence pattern. This pattern is the structure that all of our example will follow. Verb of movement, a or in, place, a or in means. Verb of movement, to, place, by means of transportation or on foot. We start with a verb of movement, such as vado, which means I go. This shows that someone is going from one place to another. Then comes the preposition a or in. Depending on the place, use a with specific places or establishment, especially in set expression such as a scuola, to school, or a casa, home. You will use in with most buildings or institutions, like in biblioteca, which means to the library, or in palestra, meaning to the gym. Use in with countries or larger locations. Like in Italia, to Italy. Or in città, in the city. After that is the place you are going to. This could be any location. And finally, we have the part how we're getting there. You can say in plus means of transportation, like in macchina. Means by car. Or in treno, meaning by train. Or use a piedi to say on foot. Let's see how a line from the dialogue follows this pattern. Vado alla cantina a piedi. I'm going to la cantina on foot. In this sentence, vado is the verb of movement, meaning I go. Alla cantina. Alla cantina uses the preposition a and the place la cantina, which contracts to alla cantina, meaning to la cantina. A piedi shows the means of transportation, on foot. So, vado alla cantina a piedi means I'm going to la cantina on foot. Now you can use this structure to talk about where we are going and how we are getting there in Italian. In Italy, people usually drive cars for short trips and take trains for longer ones. Even in big cities, metros are not very common, buses and streetcars are used more often. Now let's look at some speaking examples. Vado in biblioteca in autobus. I go to the library by bus. Can you see how the pattern applies here? Let's break it down. Here, vado is the verb of movement, meaning I go. In biblioteca shows the preposition plus place. We use in here because biblioteca is a general place like a building or institution. Then, in autobus tells us the means of transportation using the preposition in plus autobus, which means by bus. So that is how vado in biblioteca in autobus fits the pattern. Verb of movement, vado. In place, biblioteca. In means of transportation, autobus. Here's another example. Vado a scuola a piedi. I go to school on foot. Vado a scuola a piedi. I go to school on foot. Let's try one more. Vado a casa in metropolitana. I go home by metro. Vado a casa in metropolitana. I go home by metro. In Italy, the metro is officially called metropolitana, but it's commonly referred to simply as metro. Another one. Vado a Roma in macchina. I go to Rome by car. Vado a Roma in macchina. I go to Rome by car. One last example. Vado in città in taxi. I go to the city by taxi. Vado in città. In taxi. I go to the city by taxi. Now you know how to talk about transportation in Italian, and you can move on to the practice. A presto!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Italian ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to make an invitation in Italian? You'll learn how in just a moment. Hi, my name is Felice, and this is 3-Step Italian by ItalianPod101.com. In this lesson, you learn how to make an invitation in Italian through a quick conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. As you listen, pay attention to how they ask about the topic and how the other person responds. Wow, che bella camera, è molto spaziosa e la vista è magnifica. Andiamo subito in spiaggia? Vuoi riposare prima? Meglio di no, andiamo prima in spiaggia. Let's hear it with the English translation. Wow, che bella camera! È molto spaziosa e la vista è magnifica. Wow, what a beautiful room! It's very spacious and the view is magnificent. Andiamo subito in spiaggia. Let's go to the beach right away. Well, focus on the next sentence. Let's examine it more closely and break it down into its components. Vuoi riposare prima? Do you want to rest first? This starts with the verb vuoi, meaning, do you want? Vuoi. Vuoi. Next is the verb riposare, meaning to rest. Riposare. Riposare. After this is the time expression prima, meaning first or before. Prima. Prima. All together, it's vuoi riposare prima? Do you want to rest first? Vuoi riposare prima? Meglio di no. Andiamo prima in spiaggia. I'd rather not. Let's go to the beach first. Let's look at the sentence pattern. This pattern is the structure that all of our example will follow. Vuoi, infinitive. Do you want to? Vuoi means do you want? It comes from the verb volere, which means to want. In this sentence pattern, vuoi is used in the second person singular form, when you are speaking to one person informally. After that is an infinitive verb. In Italian, infinitive verbs always end in are, ere or ire. They are the unconjugated base form of verbs. Together, vuoi plus infinitive is a way to ask someone informally if they want to do something. This is a very common and useful structure in everyday Italian. Let's see how a line from the dialogue follows this pattern. Vuoi riposare prima? Do you want to rest first? In this sentence, vuoi is the second person singular form of to want, meaning do you want? Riposare is the infinitive verb meaning to rest. Prima means first, and it's added as a time expression. So, vuoi riposare prima translates to do you want to rest first? Now you can use this structure to suggest activities to do with others in Italian. In Italian, both vuoi and ti va di can be used to ask someone if they want to do something, but they feel a little different. Vuoi means do you want to, and is more direct. Ti va di means do you feel like, and is a bit softer and less direct. Ti va di, infinitive. Do you feel like? After ti va di, we use an infinitive verb, a verb that ends in are, ere or ire, and is not conjugated. In this pattern, ti means to you, informal, and va comes from the verb andare, which means to go. But here it's used in an expression that talks about what feels good or appealing to someone. You might use vuoi with a close friend, but ti va di feels a little softer or more polite. Both are common in everyday conversation. Now let's look at some speaking examples. Vuoi fare colazione? Do you want to have breakfast? Can you see how the pattern applies here? Let's break it down. Here, vuoi is the verb in the second person singular, meaning do you want? Fare is the infinitive verb, meaning to do or to make. In this context, it's part of the phrase fare colazione, which means to have breakfast. Colazione is the noun, meaning breakfast. So, vuoi fare colazione follows the pattern vuoi plus infinitive, where vuoi is the conjugated verb and fare is the infinitive. Here's another example. Ti va di guardare un film? Do you feel like watching a movie? Ti va di guardare un film? Do you feel like watching a movie? This sentence fits the pattern. Ti va di plus infinitive. This is a friendly and common way to suggest doing something together in Italian. Let's try one more. Vuoi andare al ristorante? Do you want to go to the restaurant? Vuoi andare al ristorante? Do you want to go to the restaurant? Another one. Vuoi organizzare una festa? Do you want to organize a party? Vuoi organizzare una festa? Do you want to organize a party? One last example. Ti va di venire a cena da me? Do you feel like coming to dinner at my place? Ti va di venire a cena da me? Do you feel like coming to dinner at my place? Now you know how to make an invitation in Italian, and you can move on to the practice. A presto!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Italian ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to talk about health problems in Italian? You'll learn how in just a moment. Hi, my name is Felice, and this is 3-Step Italian by ItalianPod101.com. In this lesson, you learn how to talk about health problems in Italian through a quick conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. As you listen, pay attention to how they ask about the topic and how the other person responds. Adam, non hai un bel aspetto. Stai male? Ho mal di testa. Ho anche mal di stomaco. Hai la febbre? Non lo so. Vuoi andare a casa? Sì, vado a casa. Let's break it down. Adam, non hai un bel aspetto. Stai male? Adam, you don't look well. Are you sick? After that is the focus statement. Ho mal di testa. Ho anche mal di stomaco. I have a headache. I also have a stomachache. First is the sentence. Ho mal di testa. I have a headache. Ho mal di testa. This starts with the verb ho, meaning I have. Ho. Ho. Next is the phrase mal di, literally meaning ache of. Mal di. Mal di. After this is the noun testa, meaning head. Testa. Testa. All together, ho mal di testa. This translates to I have a headache. Ho mal di testa. Next is the sentence ho anche mal di stomaco, meaning I also have a stomachache. Ho anche mal di stomaco. This starts with ho, the same verb we saw before, meaning I have. Ho. Ho. Next is the word anche, meaning also. Anche. Anche. After this is the phrase mal di, again meaning ache of, just like before. Mal di. Mal di. Last, the noun stomaco, meaning stomach. Stomaco. Stomaco. Altogether, it's ho anche mal di stomaco. This translates to I also have a stomachache. Ho anche mal di stomaco. Hai la febbre? Do you have a fever? Non lo so. I don't know. Vuoi andare a casa? Do you want to go home? Sì, vado a casa. Yes, I'm going to go home. Let's look at the sentence pattern. This pattern is the structure that all of our example will follow. Avere, mal di, or male a. Body part. To have a pain or ache in. Body part. This pattern is used to describe common physical discomforts like headaches or stomach aches. Let's look at the elements in this pattern. First is the verb avere, meaning to have. This verb tells us that the speaker possesses or experiences something, in this case, pain. Next is the expression mal di or male a. These both refer to pain, but are used slightly differently. Mal di is a fixed expression that doesn't change form regardless of gender or number, unlike male a. Male a is often used with more external or visible parts like gamba, leg, braccio, arm, mano, hand. Male a. Gamba. Leg. Braccio. Arm. Mano. Hand. After that comes the body part, which is the location of the pain. It follows either mal di or male a, depending on the word used. These body part nouns can be masculine or feminine, and either singular or plural, a fact that determines the form of the other words in the sentence. Let's see how a line from the dialogue follows this pattern. Ho mal di testa. Ho anche mal di stomaco. I have a headache. I also have a stomachache. In this sentence, ho is the first person singular of the verb avere, meaning I have. Mal di is the fixed phrase meaning ache of. testa. Testa, meaning head, is the body part mentioned. So, ho mal di testa means I have a headache. In the next part, anche means also. This is not part of our pattern. Then we again see mal di followed by stomaco. Stomach. So, ho anche mal di stomaco means I also have a stomachache. With this pattern, avere mal di or malea plus body part, you can describe feeling pain anywhere on your body. When using malea, the preposition a combines with the correct definite article for the body part depending on whether it's masculine or feminine, singular or plural. For example, masculine singular, a, il, al. Feminine singular, a, la, alla. Masculine plural, a, gli, agli. Feminine plural, a, le, alle. Now let's look at some speaking examples. Ho mal di schiena. I have a backache. Can you see how the pattern applies here? Let's break it down. Here, ho is the verb. It comes from avere, meaning to have. This shows the speaker is experiencing something. Mal di is a fixed expression used to describe an ache or pain. It literally means ache of. Schiena is the noun meaning back, is the body part that's affected. So this is how ho mal di schiena fits the pattern avere mal di body part, and it translates to I have backache. Here's another example. Ho male a una gamba. I have a sore leg. In this example, you can see the male a version. Since gamba, leg, is an external and visible body part. Ho male a una gamba. I have a sore leg. Let's try one more. Ho mal d'orecchio. Ho anche mal di denti. I have a earache. I also have a toothache. Ho mal d'orecchio. Ho anche mal di denti. I have a earache and also have a toothache. Another one. Ho male agli occhi. I have sore eyes. In this sentence, we use agli instead of just a. Gli occhi equals the eyes. The correct definite article for the eyes is gli. The structure we use is malea because eyes are visible body parts, but a plus gli, agli. When you combine a plus gli, it contracts to agli. Ho male agli occhi. I have sore eyes. One last example. Ho male alle ginocchia. My knees hurt. Here we combine a plus le. The definitive article for the knees, ginocchia, which contracts to alle. Ho male alle ginocchia. My knees hurt. Ho male alle ginocchia. My knees hurt. Now you know how to talk about health problems in Italian, and you can move on to the practice. A presto!
Trying to learn Italian but still can't speak? That's because you're missing one of 3 crucial steps. These are 3 steps to mastering and speaking Italian with confidence. And that's how you learn at Italian Pod 101. You learn with quick conversation lessons by real teachers. You get to practice what you've learned, and you get tested for total mastery. So sign up for your free lifetime account at Italian Pod 101. Click the link in the description.
Do you know how to ask someone to do something in Italian? You'll learn how in just a moment. Hi, my name is Felice, and this is 3-Step Italian by ItalianPod101.com. In this lesson, you learn how to ask someone to do something through a quick conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. As you listen, pay attention to how they ask about the topic and how the other person responds. Nonna, insegnami a cucinare. Va bene, facciamo una parmigiana. Per prima cosa, metti un po' d'olio nella padella. Fatto. Lava le melanzane. Ok. Aspetta un attimo. Quelle non sono melanzane. Let's hear it with the English translation. Nonna, insegnami a cucinare. Grandma, teach me how to cook. Va bene, facciamo una parmigiana. Per prima cosa, metti un po' d'olio nella padella. All right, let's make a parmigiana. First, put a little oil in the pan. Fatto. Done. The next sentence is the one we'll focus on. Let's take a closer look and break it down into its parts. Lava le melanzane. Wash the eggplants. First is the verb lava, which is the informal command form of lavare, meaning wash. Lava. Lava. Next is the article le, meaning the, in the feminine plural form, le. Le. After this is the noun, melanzane, meaning eggplants. Melanzane. Melanzane. All together, it's lava le melanzane. Wash the eggplants. Lava le melanzane. Ok. Ok. Aspetta un attimo, quelle non sono melanzane. Wait a minute, those aren't eggplants. Let's look at the sentence pattern. This pattern is the structure that all of our example will follow. Imperative verb plus complement. Let's look at the elements in this pattern. First is the verb in the imperative form. Next is the complement, which in our sentences is the object, the thing that receives the action. This might be a noun or a noun phrase, and it often includes an article, such as il, the masculine singular, la, the feminine singular, or le, the feminine plural. Let's see how a line from the dialogue follows this pattern. Lava le melanzane. Wash the eggplants. First is the verb lava, which is the informal imperative form of the verb lavare, meaning to wash. To form the imperative for regular are verbs like lavare, when speaking to one person informally, the to form, you remove the are ending from the infinitive and add a. So, lavare becomes lava. This form is used to give a direct instruction or request, such as telling someone to wash something. Next is the article le, which is the definitive article meaning the. It's used here in its feminine plural form because it refers to melanzane, a feminine plural noun. Then we have the noun melanzane, meaning eggplants. This is the object of the verb, the thing being washed. So it functions as the complement in the sentence. Altogether, it's lava le melanzane, wash the eggplants. Lava le melanzane. This sentence is a clear example of the imperative verb plus complement pattern. In Italian, the imperative is used to give commands, instruction, or make a request. When speaking informally to one person, regular verbs change their endings depending on their conjugation group. Verbs ending in are, like parlare, to speak, take the ending a in the informal to form, parla, speak. Verbs ending in ere, like scrivere, to write, and those ending in ire, like dormire, to sleep, both take the ending i. Scrivi, write. Dormi, sleep. Now you can use this structure to give simple instruction or request when speaking informally in Italian. The informal negative imperative in Italian has a special rule, especially when you are talking to tu, you, singular informal. Here's how it works. For tu, you, informal, the negative imperative is formed using non plus infinitive of the verb. So, instead of conjugating the verb, you leave it in the infinitive form after non. Examples. Non parlare. Don't speak. Non mangiare. Don't eat. Non aprire la finestra. Don't open the window. Even though these are commands, the verbs stay in their dictionary form. Now, let's look at some speaking examples. Mettilo nella borsa. Put it in the bag. Can you see how the pattern applies here? Let's break it down. Here, mettilo is the imperative verb with the direct object pronoun attached. Metti is the imperative form of the verb mettere, meaning put. Lo is the pronoun it, attached directly to the verb. So we have the full command mettilo, meaning put it. Next is the prepositional phrase nella borsa, which acts as the complement. Nella is the contraction of in plus la, meaning in the, for a feminine singular noun. Borsa means bag. So, mettilo nella borsa follows the pattern imperative verb plus complement perfectly. It gives a clear command specifying what to do and where. Altogether, it's Mettilo nella borsa. Put it in the bag. Here's another example. Scrivi il messaggio nel libro. Write the message in the book. Scrivi il messaggio nel libro. Write the message in the book. Let's try one more. Leggi il testo adesso. Read the text now. Leggi il testo adesso. Read the text now. Another one. Metti i bicchieri sul tavolo. Put the glasses on the table. Metti i bicchieri sul tavolo. Put the glasses on the table. One last example. Cancella la frase dalla lavagna. Erase the sentence from the board. Cancella la frase dalla lavagna. Erase the sentence from the board. Now you know how to ask someone to do something in Italian, and you can move on to the practice. A presto!
Trying to learn Italian but still can't speak? That's because you're missing one of 3 crucial steps. These are 3 steps to mastering and speaking Italian with confidence. And that's how you learn at Italian Pod 101. You learn with quick conversation lessons by real teachers. You get to practice what you've learned, and you get tested for total mastery. So sign up for your free lifetime account at Italian Pod 101. Click the link in the description.
Practice. Do you know how to talk about future actions in Italian? You learn how in just a moment. Hi, my name is Felice, and this is 3-Step Italian by ItalianPod101.com. In this lesson, you learn how to talk about future actions in Italian through a quick conversation. Practice. Let's look at the dialogue. As you listen, pay attention to how they ask about the topic and how the other person responds. Grazie per il pranzo, è tutto buonissimo. Prego. Isabella, cosa farai quest'estate? Visiterò Nizza con alcuni amici. Oh, vai al mare, non vai a cercare lavoro? No, seguirò dei corsi estivi lì. Non dimenticare il costume da bagno. Penso che l'estate sarà calda. Let's break it down. Grazie per il pranzo, è tutto buonissimo. Thank you for the lunch, everything is so good. After that is the focus statement. Let's take a look at its elements. Prego, Isabella, cosa farai quest'estate? You are welcome. Isabella, what are you going to do this summer? First is the word prego, meaning you are welcome. Prego. Prego. Next is the name Isabella. This is simply the person's name being addressed. Isabella. Isabella. After this is the question phrase cosa farai, meaning what are you going to do? First in this phrase is cosa, meaning what. Cosa. Cosa. Next is the verb farai, which comes from the verb fare, meaning to do. Farai. Farai. Last is quest'estate, meaning this summer. Quest'estate. Quest'estate. Together, it's prego, Isabella, cosa farai quest'estate? You are welcome. Isabella, what are you going to do this summer? Visiterò Nizza con alcuni amici. I will visit Nice with some friends. Oh, vai al mare. Non vai a cercare lavoro? Oh, you are going to the beach? Aren't you going to look for a job? No, seguirò dei corsi estivi lì. No, I'll take some summer classes there. Non dimenticare il costume da bagno. Penso che l'estate sarà calda. Don't forget your swimming suits. I think the summer will be hot. Practice. Let's look at the sentence pattern. But first, let's get familiar with simple future conjugations. In Italian, this is how you form the futuro semplice, or simple future tense. The future tense endings are o, ai, a, emo, ete, anno. For regular are, ere, and ire verbs, drop the final e from the infinitive and add the ending. Only with are verbs, you also change the a to e before adding the ending. Now let's see the pattern that all of our example will follow. Subject plus verb in the future tense plus complement. Let's take a look at the subject first. In Italian, the subject is often implied through the verb ending. If needed for clarity or emphasis, the subject can also be stated explicitly, like adding a personal pronoun like tu, you, or a name. Next is the verb in the future tense. Last is the complement, which tells us more about the action. Let's see how a line from the dialogue follows this pattern. Isabella, cosa farai quest'estate? Isabella, what are you going to do this summer? In this sentence, Isabella functions as a vocative, the person being spoken to. The actual grammatical subject, tu, is implied. Farai is the future tense form of the verb fare, meaning to do or to make. It's the second person singular form with the I ending. So it tells us, you will do. Quest'estate is the complement, meaning this summer. In this phrase, questa means this, and estate means summer. Together, they tell us when the action will take place. So, Isabella, cosa farai quest'estate? Translated to, Isabella, what are you going to do this summer? Now you can use this structure, subject plus verb in the future tense plus complement to talk about your future plans in Italian. Let's see a few more simple future examples. Parlare becomes parlerai. You will talk. Prendere becomes prenderai. You will take. Dormire becomes dormirai. You will sleep. You'll hear these forms a lot when talking about plans or intentions. Now, you can use this structure to talk about things you will do in the future in Italian. Practice. In Italian, irregular verbs in the futuro semplice don't follow the regular conjugation pattern used for are, ere, or ire verbs. While regular verbs drop final e and follow a clear pattern, irregular verbs use altered stems, but they still take the same future tense endings: o, ai, a, emo, ete, anno. For example, instead of using the full infinitive, andare becomes andr, and you get andrai for you will go. Avere turns into avr. So, avrai means you will have. Essere becomes sar, leading to sarai. You will be. And fare becomes far. So, farai means you will do or make. These irregular stems often don't look like the infinitive form at all, which is why it's important to memorize them early. They are used frequently in the everyday speech, so you will hear them often. Practice. Now let's look at some speaking examples. Io studierò domani mattina. I will study tomorrow morning. Can you see how the pattern applies here? Let's break it down. Here, io is the subject, even though it is not always required in Italian, because the verb ending shows who is the subject is. It appears here for emphasis and clarity. It tells us who will do the action. Studierò is the verb in the future tense. It's the first person singular form of the verb studiare, meaning to study. The o ending shows it's in the future tense and that the subject is I. This tells us what the speaker will do. Domani mattina is the complement. It means tomorrow morning, and it tells us when the action will happen. So that is how io studierò domani mattina fits the pattern subject, verb in the future tense, complement. Here's another example. Noi mangeremo pizza stasera. We will eat pizza tonight. Noi mangeremo pizza stasera. We will eat pizza tonight. Let's try one more. Marco visiterà Roma in estate. Marco will visit Rome in the summer. Marco visiterà Roma in estate. Marco will visit Rome in the summer. Another one. Preparerò la torta per te domani. I will make the cake for you tomorrow. Preparerò la torta per te domani. I will make the cake for you tomorrow. One last example with an irregular verb. Luca sarà a casa domani. Luca will be home tomorrow. In this sentence, sarà is the irregular future form of the verb essere, to be. Luca sarà a casa domani. Luca will be home tomorrow. Practice. Now you know how to talk about future actions in Italian, and you can move on to the practice. A presto!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Italian ebook before it's gone.